and issues that we think can be of help at this time, and actually can be of help at any time in our lives, no matter what we may be going through. And tonight's for fear, your choice. And I'm thinking right now, I was, going over what I wanted to talk about today, and I thought about all the fear, that we have in this world right now. And, I've talked a few weeks ago about anxiety, and it's all connected, anxiety and fear. I personally think fear is stronger. It's a very strong, powerful emotion, and it can take us over. It can just totally overwhelm us to the point where we're not really functioning very well. And, over the last, few months, I've talked with people, and some of their reactions have been they can't sleep at night. Others have said they just can't focus. Someone told me that she loved to read, and over with what's been happening recently, she's so fearful that she can't concentrate on reading anymore. And others have said, they're not eating well. And again, I'm just speaking for a few people that I've spoken with. I'm not any kind of a researcher, but, we see it. We see it everywhere. And fear can be something so strong and so overwhelming that we can't deal with anything if we let it go, and if we keep letting it get stronger and stronger in our lives. So to me, the point is, what can we do to be able to kind of stop the fear? I recently had an experience of fear. It was a few months ago before everything happened. I was in India meditating and feeling really, really peaceful and really relaxed. And we started to hear about what was going on in America and the world. And all of a sudden we heard that the planes were going to be stopping, flying back to Europe and the United States, and we might not be able to get a plane back. And I was okay. And then all of a sudden, when I started thinking about it, I went to myself, what happens if we're stuck here? And even though I love being there at a meditation retreat, the idea of maybe having to stay for months or not being able to get a plane out, I just didn't know, or maybe they would send you somewhere. I started to get fearful. So being at a meditation retreat, what do you think I did? I meditated. I sat down, once I got a hold of myself, and I meditated, and I just asked my higher self, where should I be? Should I be here? Should I stay here? And this could possibly be the greatest experience of my life, to be at a meditation retreat for some months, not knowing when I would be able to leave. Or is it time for me to leave now after I've had such an amazing time? Well, my higher voice, my inner voice, and that's what we're talking about tonight, came back at me with the answer, try to get an earlier flight out. And I thought, oh, how am I going to do that? And, I don't know I was concerned about hearing that you couldn't really do it online to change your flight. And this was in India, and it might be hard to get them on the phone, which was almost impossible. It took a couple of nights, but I did. I was able to get a flight out earlier. And the day that I was leaving, we were told that these were going to be the last few flights that would be going out. I'm sure there were other flights, but, it was very, very difficult. So for me, okay, maybe that sounds, pretty simple and pretty, this is not one of the worst fears in life, but you know how fear is. It can get a hold of you. I mean, it can be something so basic in your life, and it affects you. And so I think we can't really look at someone else ever and say, well, that's not an important fear. My fear is much worse than your fear. Fear is fear. But there is a way, and as I was just saying, to kind of, I don't know, to delete it totally out of our lives, but to be able to live with it in a way where it's not fear. In fact, fear is actually something that, has been developed in our physical bodies to be able to help us survive. And so, if there's a fire coming, or you know that there's a fire, and you suddenly get afraid and you run, or something else is about to happen in your life, that you're about to get in a car accident, and you're able to have fear for a second and, maybe swerve and turn the car away so that you don't get in an accident. That's kind of considered, where fear motivates us. But I think that we don't even have to have that kind of fear. I think that we can learn, again, through attention on our inner selves, through a different way, which is to become more alert and more aware of our surroundings, of things that are happening, of whatever's going on inside of us, you know? And so again, it's all about meditating and silence, getting into the stillness of our lives and getting into the stillness through the third eye, which if you watch any of the Brahma Kumari's classes online or have ever been to a center around the world, you know that it all starts with our inner self and the spirit within. And so I think this is a really good thing to be able to work on getting rid of fear and moving into faith. And the less fear that we have, I totally believe, completely believe, that the more faith that we have, that things will work out. So right now, let's do it, right? Let's just sit here right now and kind of go beyond everything that might be happening in your life and just sit in peace. Why don't we breathe a little bit too? I find it's not something I used to do, but I've been doing it recently, and a lot of people I know are just breathing in and out a few times or more. Some people do a lot of breathing. So just breathe in and hold it, and then breathe out. And breathe in for 5 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, and then breathe out. Just one more time, okay? Just to be able to calm the breath. And I know when we're nervous and we're upset, what happens to the breath? You can't breathe, right? You know, you get to that, like your breath is so fast. And so we just want to calm ourselves down, get into that calm place. Something that we probably don't do enough these days, just go into a state of calm. So let me feel right now. Let me just slow myself down. Feel what it's like to just be me as a calm being, to be me free from all worry or fear or anything. Let me just relax. Let me enjoy this moment of time, this feeling of not having to rush, not having to look at my list, whether it's in my head or on the computer or on a list of what it is that I have to do next, what I have to take care of. Let me just relax. Let me just feel that peace. And as I feel that peace inside, my entire body experiences calm and experiences a state of total well-being. It doesn't happen all at once, and sometimes it takes some time, but let me just go with it now. Let me be with myself, my beautiful spiritual self. Let me feel this peace. Let me look inside now that I'm in a state where I'm feeling better and more calm. And let me ask myself, what is it that I am most fearful about right now? I might have an idea of what I'm worrying about, what's on my mind, but let me ask myself, what is my fear about? So let me stop for a minute and just let my higher, deeper self answer. And I will get an answer. I will get some kind of direction as to what that fear is all about. So as I tune into myself, and who knows myself better than myself? I know myself. I just have to give time and support and energy to my higher self, which can help guide me through these difficult moments. So maybe it's a fear of the future. Of course, it has to do with probably something with the future. Maybe it's a fear of something that I feel that I just can't control, or something that's just going on with a relationship with me and someone else. It could be work. It could be family. Whatever it is, let me just sit here in silence and quiet. The soul, the energy inside, thrives on quiet. Something that I just don't give myself enough of. Just quiet time. A time to be with myself, to enjoy myself, and to know myself. To know what it is affecting me, what it is it that's taking my energy away. My aim is to be loving and positive right now and to know what it is I have to do. So once I can understand what it is really, really affecting me and causing some fear, then I can guide myself accordingly. And I will know inside. I don't have to depend on the outside to tell me what I should be doing. Let me just trust in myself that I will know the answers, that I will have the answers to whatever it is that I need to do. So let me just again feel this inner peace and this inner guidance and understand what it is that I need to do in my life and just feel the peace. Let me feel what it's like to be okay with everything. I can almost go back to my childhood and try to remember a moment where everything just felt perfect. Somewhere in my childhood, and maybe many, many times in my childhood, there was that moment of just innocence, of acceptance, of just pure innocence and love. Let me be that again, that being of peace, that being of where everything is good. Everything is exactly as it should be. So let me again ask myself, is there anything that I need to know that can help guide me through this, whatever I'm going through? And from there, I can make decisions because I have the right answers that have come from this deep silence. Let me enjoy this moment and let me know that I will come back. I know that I will come back to this moment again and again. Just a feeling of everything being okay. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So hopefully you get an answer. And if you don't get an answer right away in your meditations, that's okay. I don't always get an answer, but in time I do. You could walk outside after this, and suddenly something comes inside you, an answer, like it just pops into your head. And you know that it is, that's what you need to do in your life to get rid of the fear and the worry. And it's all about the faith. It truly is that instead of letting negativity affect us and take over our lives, what we're doing is letting positivity take over. And so the more that we can cultivate positivity, and so when we're having a negative thought or a fearful thought, just switch your thought. And just say something like, it will pass. Whatever's happening to me, it will pass. I'm sure it has passed before, right? I'm sure you've had many experiences, as I have, that seemed like they would never pass. And I asked myself, what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? And what happens? I can't even remember what those moments were. in time, right? In life. And so just know that this too shall pass. So that's about faith, having faith, that everything's working to your benefit. Everything is working to help guide you and to help you make these decisions in life. And I think sometimes we don't even have to make decisions. We'll just know. Someone will be there to help us. Someone will have a message for us. Something will suddenly change and shift in life. But if we keep churning over and over again, I don't know what I'm going to do, what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to my family, we just keep spinning this over and over again. And I've noticed something about myself, and perhaps you can identify with this, that I ask too many questions about what's going to happen. How many times do I need to read or see on television what the predictions are? I think you need to be aware and know what's happening, but how many times have I asked myself, how long is this going to last? What's going to happen next? What's it going to look like? And I notice others do too, so I don't think I'm all alone. I'm not totally alone, but so for me personally, I think it's about not asking the questions over and over again. I mean, yes, it's okay to ask it once in a while, to listen to people. We do need to listen to people, right? But to just know, again, it's a knowingness. And that's where the faith comes in. It's a knowingness that you'll have the answers. And that even if something seems really, really bad, because people often say to me, well, you have this philosophy and you study with the Brahma Kumaris, but things don't always work out. And they don't seem to work out at the moment. They don't, It's like, why did this happen? Why did somebody I love so much pass away now? Why, I'm sure many of us have asked, you lose a job, it's like, why did I lose this job that I loved? Or, things like that. And then if you look further down the road and you look at your life and you say, wow, this happened because this something good that happened in my life happened so I could move into something new and something different in my life. So I think it's about the ultimate being so, just not positive, but optimistic, having optimism, a feeling that everything is going to work out. And I do have hope that everything will work out, because if we keep thinking things aren't going to work out, I think we create that as well, If we keep saying it's not going to work out, things are terrible in life, we create an atmosphere. We create an atmosphere around us. And what does atma mean? In Greek, I think it's Greek, I forget now, yeah. Atma and sphere, so it's the sphere around the soul. And the more that we say things that are not hopeful and that are kind of hopeless, and the more that we just create this kind of lack of well-being and just a feeling of things not being right and not being good and being critical of life and being critical of what's happening, we begin to live in that. It's kind of like a soup that we live in, of just negativity and worrying and a feeling of just, honestly, a lack of energy too, where you almost give up. And that's what you've created that. And I think that you go on to actually believe that because you've created it. You've created that. So be aware of what you're thinking. Be aware of what is going on in your mind, and again, sometimes we can't, the mind is going so fast, so many thoughts are going on that it's hard sometimes to be aware. But again, that's where spirituality comes in, again, where we slow down our thoughts and we take time for ourselves. I honestly feel, after all these years of meditating, and I'm certainly not there, as people around me know, it's like, and most of us that meditate, we know we've got our flaws, but we're working on them, we are trying to be the best people that we can, and so, I mean, if I look back at my own life, I say, well, I'm not where I want to be spiritually, but look at some of the things I've overcome and look how I have created change. So
this whole getting rid of fears and getting rid of negativity and moving into faith is about self-change. We can't change anybody else, right? I'm sure we've all tried. We can't change anybody, but we can change ourselves. We do have the capability to change ourselves. And it's kind of amazing when you think about it, because you know yourself better than anyone else, right? You know how to handle yourself. Be gentle. This isn't about some big push. You know, we're not running a marathon here with self-transformation, but pay attention. Pay attention. And I think it's really important to also, you know, if we're talking about faith and we're talking about fear, I mean, what's probably the greatest fear that everybody has in life, right? I mean, I think it's death, right? Everybody's afraid of going, of dying. And I remember years ago I heard William Shatner, you know, of Star Trek fame, say, and he was up there in years at the time, you know, it wasn't like he was really young, and they asked him what was on his mind then, and he said, I'm afraid of dying. You know, I'm really afraid of dying. And it was interesting to me because here's this big star, you know, who's not even beyond a star, right? His whole life, you know, and he has the same fears that most people do have. You know, that fear of when things are good and maybe you have a really good life and then all of a sudden you're not going to be here anymore. But again, according to our teachings of Raj Yoga, we believe that the soul, the light inside here, is eternal. As we believe the Supreme Soul or divine energy, God, is also eternal. And we live forever, that we never die. The body goes, we know that, right? But the soul, the energy, who we are, is forever. And so we really, if we can embrace that, and that's not easy, even if you're a meditator and you really believe this and you really embrace this, it's still not easy when somebody leaves. We call it leaves the body instead of dying. Someone leaves it because we feel that the soul leaves the body. The energy leaves the body and goes on. And we believe the soul goes on to another body, but whatever your beliefs are, you hold on to those beliefs until they change, if they do. And so we really do believe that everything is eternal, that we're eternal. And again, so we don't even have to really worry about death when we think about that, you know? And do we have to worry about losing things? I mean, things that are really important to us. And of course, you know, we have to function in life, and we have to figure out things, what to do about work, if we're losing a job, what to do about our children, what to do, you know, about our health. Of course, we have to pay attention to all of this. But what I have found is that the more faith we have that everything will work out, it actually does work out. It's a way of thinking. And I mean, I can just tell you personally, and I've seen so many other people that, you know, live with this philosophy and this attitude, and of, you know, not just our teachings, but I think other people do too, and in other, you know, groups. And the more that you do live with this idea that everything is working to benefit you, and that even if it doesn't seem good right now, tomorrow it will be okay. Magically, it transforms. Something happens at the right moment. And so we really can't control the external, but we can control ourselves, how we think, how we feel, how we react. In fact, we say we shouldn't be reacting, we should be responding. Now, we don't always do it right away, you know, immediately something happens and it's like, what happened? You know, what's going on? Why is this happening? I mean, we all do that, but I try to get a hold of myself, you know, when I find myself with that attitude or suddenly reacting, and I try to check myself, my stage, and change and say, okay, let me respond. And hopefully, and I do believe that over time, it gets less and less. We don't have to react to negativity or things that worry us. We can just respond. And when we can respond with positivity and with thought, with good thought, we actually can help the situation. we don't really want to be the people that hurt situations and make things aggravate them, right? We want to be able to help others. So again, it's really faith in myself. It's faith in life, that things will work out in life. And it's faith in, a higher purpose and really a higher being. And again, that's something I think for you to meditate on and reflect on. I never believe that we can tell anybody what to believe, of course. It comes from your own experience. But I do feel that the more that we can reflect and meditate and have more silence, the more we will have answers for our own lives. And so I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Faith over fear. And it's your choice. It really is your choice. So I hope you make good choices that help life work out for you at all times. And I do know that the more you think like this, the more things, they just have a way of working out, even when things seem kind of dire. So I hope, if you enjoyed this, I hope you will share it on Facebook and tell others that the Brahma Kumaris do have classes, Brahma Kumaris Miami, every night, Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. And I wish the best for you at all times. Om Shanti.